Hey everybody, and welcome to this video. If you're wondering whether to go into fashion, go to fashion school, or maybe you're thinking about studying textiles, I think it's a really good idea to learn from other people's experiences and their career paths that they've taken. Hi, I'm Kerry O'Brien, and my goal is to help you get started in your career in fashion or textiles and shed some light on the options that you've got available to you. Today I'm chatting with specialist in bespoke textiles Mika Nash, and we're going to be chatting about her decision to go to university to study fashion but ultimately come out as a textiles graduate, and she specialised in print dye and textiles design. Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today. Today I'm joined by Mika Nash, who's a specialist in designer textiles. Hi Mika.
Hi, so good to see you.
Nice to see you too. Thank you for joining me. Right, where do we start? We both went to university together and did the same course. So you specialize in textiles, is that right?
Yes.
And then from there, what did you do after your textiles degree? What led you to where you are now? So tell my viewers what's happened.
So the brief history of my life.
Yeah. Just summarize the last 10 years. Has it been 10 years or longer? Oh, I don't want to think about it.
Okay, so yes, Ravensbourne, I rocked up, to study fashion. Left with a textile degree.
So you were thinking you were going to do fashion when you went?
I did, yes.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yes. I was determined that was definitely the route that was going to, I don't know, take me to fame and fortune.
Of course, we all think that.
But one of the technicians there who was the screen printing technician, I found very inspirational, and found that I really enjoyed colour and I really enjoyed kind of applying colour to fabrics, and that set me off on that path.
Okay.
I also found that I found it quite easy. So
that's good. But something that you find easy is often like the thing that you're kind of got the skills in, the kind of, something that flows.
Yes, yeah.
A good way to go with.
Or if you really enjoy something and you're not very good at it, that's great. But I'm lazy, so yeah.
Yeah, it's like I shouldn't have been pursuing that pattern cutting. I just knew I should have given that up.
I do not have a three-dimensional mind that is.
I do. I can do it. I can do pattern cutting, and I find it has come easy. I don't, but I'm not precise enough. I can do it, and it all comes easy. I can convert 2D to 3D, 3D to 2D. That's fine. I'm not precise enough for the tutors.
Well, all hail to you, because I can't. It just does this to me.
Fair enough. So yeah, textiles is the way to go.
Ironically, you need to be so precise. Like, yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't really think about that. Yeah. So well, like in terms of like laying stuff
out, the measurements, you need to have quite a mathematical mind, and working in volumes, and you need to be very precise in getting your recipes correct, and remembering exactly the process that you've done. So it's very methodical, and it's very mathematical, I think is the right term.
So you're a lazy mathematical person.
My mum would be so proud. My mum was.
I don't know.
Fair enough.
we'll move on from that. So you were inspired by, I think his name was Nick. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nick
Yeah.
Ford.
He inspired you to go into the textile route, and then you pursued that in your degree.
Well, we all graduated.
We did.
Super fun. And that was a bit of a shock, actually, because I think we graduated in the middle of a recession. So that was fun. So Nick was, he offered me a part-time job at Ravensbourne.
Okay, yeah.
I was working 2 days a week there. And there was a huge amount of students who were doing a lot of dyeing work and a lot of print work, so much that there was too many of them to kind of get through the normal technician hours. So I also substituted that with a bit of kind of out of hours contract work, I guess.
Yeah.
It worked really, really well. I had, I think fortunately for me, I had a really good kind of client bedside manner. I was able to talk to students kind of quite easily about the processes that I was doing. It was really experimental, so it was great fun.
So you were like kind of helping them with their experimentations, or like for like to do the actual dyeing and stuff, or printing for their final projects, or
both. So it was from their direction. So it was kind of giving them a real good taste of, I suppose, how it should really work in industry.
Yeah.
Being able to direct a project and say, look, this is the outcome that I'm looking for. So can you spend an hour, 2 hours working on this? And I would document it all very meticulously. They would choose an outcome that would really work, and then I would produce it for their final piece.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds really useful as a student to be able to direct somebody, because I feel like that's kind of somewhere that maybe our course or generally courses were a bit lacking, in the fact that you're not being taught how to manage other people, and which I feel like is quite a big thing in any role in fashion industry, textiles or design or whatever. It kind of, I feel like that was quite lacking.
And so many creatives end up starting their own companies without those experiences from which to learn, or are not taught, or it's not considered that you should learn how to manage, how to work with people, and yeah, how to project manage.
It is, yeah. Yeah, it's all about project management and people management and that kind of thing, and in so many different ways. Yeah, you don't really realize it as a student. I don't think that that's such a major part in many positions, whether you run your own business or not. It's kind of
Completely. I mean, so many people that we both know, I think, have ended up in situations where they've either had a boss who just says, just do that, just get it done, or have ended up with a team of people, juniors, and not had those skills on how to get the most out of that situation, how to make sure that everyone's working to the best of their ability, or and ended up kind of very stressed themselves and ended up doing everything themselves.
Yeah, that's what ultimately you end up doing, is like you just end up doing it yourself, because you're like, just move out the way. I know what I want.
It doesn't help anyone at all.
No, it really doesn't.
I think
anyway, sorry, I interrupted your flow.
No. It was one of the first times that I realized that actually I really liked working with people, which was a big thing for me, because artists work on their own.
Yes. Well, I think a lot of, like, even when you're studying as well, it's very solo, because you're going off, you get a set brief, you go off and you research, you do all these things, and you're not really collaborating with anyone on that. And even if you do a group collaboration that sometimes we got forced into, you kind of, it's it's very clashy, and you've all gone off and done your thing, and then you have to come back together and like kind of see how it all fits, rather than kind of working together towards something.
I think the whole industry is set up that way. I mean, design brands are people's names.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's set up to be very solo.
I guess some are not though. Like, because if you think of like public school and what's God, my names are not coming to me today. What's the Japanese? Oh, there's so many other. There's a couple of brands I'm trying to think of that are like, they're not like necessarily somebody's name, or they are a name and it's just a group of people that are under that, and you don't know who it is that's designing. Can't remember.
That's a new thing, though. I think that's a very and
yeah.
Because finally we're getting that idea of collective talents being pooled, rather than, it always used to make me laugh, the idea that one designer did all the pattern cutting, did all the fabric sourcing, did all the dyeing, did all the printing.
I know. And then like someone comes along like me and expects myself to be able to do it all.
And if you can do it, that's amazing.
You can't.
But everything else will suffer.
Exactly. Your mental well-being. I don't think there's such a thing in fashion, but anyway, another story. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Mika.
So yeah, teamwork. And I think textiles, especially at the time, was the ugly sister of fashion.
In that time, or in our course?
Good question. I have no experience outside of that, so
the course, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know though, because like some designers, you had maybe, I don't know, maybe I've been more aware of it now, but like I feel like there has been like a batch of designers that have come through since our course that are more textile focused. They do fashion collections, but there's a lot more texture, print focus in their collections versus what I feel like there was before. Like textiles was like, obviously textiles and fashion are always going to be linked because you can't do it without them, but like textiles was kind of like not an afterthought, but it wasn't, the focus wasn't textiles, it was the other way around.
Yeah, maybe it was the way that it was taught to us, that the two things were so separate that they were, and yeah, that you just, for want of a better,
one or the other,
linked it on, like, oh, I've designed this beautiful dress and then I just stuck a flower on it. It seemed to be the idea, whereas actually when I buy clothes, as you can tell, I'm totally textile focused. But it is the color and it's the texture, and that is what attracts me personally. So
I think I think the problem is like also with that is like to separate textiles from fashion is not good for anybody, because especially the fashion students, because it becomes like, even if you're not looking at like a detail like a flower, you're looking at an overall making of the garment. To separate the two, it's like you can't really separate them, because fabric is the garment, but as a fashion designer you kind of forget that because you're too absorbed in like the design of the shape and the lines and the cut and the and all that kind of thing, and that's what you're kind of driven to be focused on, in that, pushed in that direction, as far as I felt. And then then you kind of picked a fabric which you
wouldn't do for any other product. Like,
no.
I'm going to design the most amazing table. I suppose I'll make it out of concrete, yeah, whatever. Like,
I've just drawn the shape. Now we've got to pick a material.
Or I'm going to make some cups. They're going to be like this, and they're going to be blue, and it's going to be amazing. And I'm going to make it out of
Yeah, so I think like for me it was a bit of a revelation. Like I kind of did a lot of like self exploration. I don't know, like a lot of like learning after our degree on a lot of things that kind of made me realize all of this, that I maybe needed to do a lot more on that side.
I think coming out the other side of a 3-year degree was like, I think you get puffed up a little bit of like, I've got a degree, I'm 22, woo-hoo. And then you realize that, yeah, you're 22 and, you know.
There's a lot more stuff to know.
One of my first jobs, first proper jobs was at Zandra Rhodes. And yeah, she was very good at, you know nothing. If you've been doing this as long as I have.
Fair enough. You can't really argue with that, can you? So you were working at Zandra Rhodes and you were working at Ravensbourne and you were working in a bar all at the same time.
Yes, I think so. So starting from Monday, I think I worked at Zandra Rhodes Monday, Tuesday, and I would work in the bar those evenings. So I'd start at 9, I'd finish at 6, I'd run to the bar, I'd start at 7 and finish at midnight. And that was pretty much the full week. And if it wasn't Zandra Rhodes, it was at Ravensbourne.
And then Nick was selling his stuff. Was that right? Nick was selling, did he sell you the tables from Ravensbourne? Because when they were shutting down?
Yeah, so this was a couple years afterwards. So Zandra Rhodes went into liquidation again.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's totally like.
So just tracking back to that, was her studio in the Fashion Textile Museum?
Yes.
Yeah, because I know that she owns that, but I wasn't sure whether you did the work there.
And sold it to Council, I think. So it's not owned by her anymore.
Okay.
But yeah, her screen printing studio was there. So I basically kind of moved up the ranks from doing work experience for like a month, and then I got a job, and then I was training work experience people, and then I was doing all the production for her. And one of my favorite bits was scrubbing out all the Manhattan buildings for the Arab market, she said.
What? Hang on. In the prints, you had to scrub them out.
Yeah.
What was left? Like some bushes?
I think they were flowers instead or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's one of those mad stories. And then, so yeah, basically I didn't sleep for like a year and a half.
Okay, that sounds right.
And then, so I'd finished at Ravensbourne because I think the school year had finished. There were a couple of students who had graduated and said they were going to take me on. So I had a couple of like freelance jobs here and there.
Yeah.
Zandra Rhodes went into liquidation again. So I wasn't working there. And I think, to be honest, I think I had about 9 months of just floating, of like nothing quite sort of being solid. And then.
Was that quite stressful?
Oh, I hated that bar job. I hated it so much. And I was applying for things, but print and dye jobs just don't come up.
No, well, I guess it's quite a small niche area.
Yes. I did 2 weeks work experience at a paper screen printing studio, and they thought I was completely nuts because my skills were good enough to be hired, but in the wrong specialism.
Yeah.
I had a great time and they were wonderful and the quality that they were producing was fantastic and I learned a lot if I
Mm.
ever wanted to print paper.
Wow, that's another small niche market. But it was very small and getting smaller.
But yeah, it was one of those like, I don't know. Yeah, it was very stressful. But I think when you're really young, you don't think of it as stressful. You just think of it as like, oh well,
Hmm.
come up and be
You're
the
a bit more
next.
resilient maybe at that time.
Yeah, and used to living on £30 a month.
Yeah. £30 went a long way back then.
I was I was desperately looking for a way that I could keep printing. I knew that there was a market for this, but I
Okay.
didn't have the facility to do it. And so my friend Gav, who was the year above both of us,
Yeah.
uh, had a similar experience and was kind of also specializing in screen printing.
Hmm.
Uh, he was kind of moving more into color trend forecasting and illustration. So he had a bit more of a stable job, whereas I was much more specialist. But we were constantly talking about the next harebrained idea, the next business we were going to have.
Yeah.
I got a call from Nick. We knew that Ravensbourne was closing. Um, and Nick basically called me up and said, we're getting rid of everything. If you want it, you can have it, but you need to be here tomorrow because they're going to put it in a skip. And
It's
that
nothing
was,
like short notice. See, you called Gav.
I called Gareth. He was livid with me because although this was the most amazing, like, potentially this was going to solve all our problems.
Yeah.
Um, but he was spending the weekend with his now wife.
Fair enough. It's an important weekend.
What weekend? Um, and yeah, so basically he like hightailed it back. We got a van and we spent, I think, 2.5 days dismantling like a 20 meter print table with a carriage, which weighed, I think it's actually a ton, like an actual ton. Um, Lifted it all out, did it all ourselves, learned how print tables fit together,
Well, that's a good learning experience.
catalogued like every die that we could use, the scales, everything. We just took everything that we possibly could.
That's amazing.
Um, and yeah, all thanks to Nick. And it was funny actually because the university, after we took it, said, oh, well, actually, you need to pay us like X amount of money, which was really funny considering they were going to pay £3,000 for someone to come and take it all away and put it in a skip.
Yeah, that's a bit cheeky.
Yeah. So yeah, we took that into storage and
Okay.
it's there for 3 months where we tried to figure out what to do with it, where to put it. Googled every car garage, every artist warehouse, every office space, every derelict building in London, the works, like, and all we needed was running water.
Okay.
Impossible.
Really?
This is
You didn't need
impossible.
electricity?
Well, electricity, but like every office and every workspace is electricity.
Oh, I see. You just struggled with the water.
Yeah.
Oh, never really thought about that.
Yeah. Eventually we found somewhere. It was a grand total of £361 a month, which seemed like an awful lot.
It seems a lot. I mean, it probably starts, yeah, seemed a lot at the time, but actually that's not that bad. It's not great if you don't have any money.
What was it? It was an artist group that used buildings that they weren't derelict, but they were going to be knocked down in like within 5 years. So
Okay, yeah.
you really rent them out to real clients, but artists are totally fine.
Well, you know, they, as we know, artists will suffer for their craft. It's fine.
So we put up the table. We were super excited. We had an iMac. We had a wheelie chair, and we cleaned the space out, and I had the most beautiful parquet floor, which I'm still devastated that we covered in printing ink. We built a washout bay because you have to wash the screens after you're printing them, out of a shower tray and bitumen and tarpaulin. It's very high tech. We had some dye baths that were on little electric hobs that took, I mean, honestly, you had to turn them on in the morning and then you could dye maybe 3-4 o'clock.
Okay. Wow. You were committed, Mika. You were committed.
And both of us were working at the same time. I was working at the University of East London.
Ooh.
Totally forgot about that one.
I didn't know about this one. What happened there? What were you doing?
I got a job as a screen printing technician at the University of East London. They have a fantastic facility, slightly less than enthusiastic students. So this worked out really well.
Because they didn't need you that much. So they weren't interested in textiles. It was more of a fashion course.
They did, actually, their fashion course is supposed to be really good. I don't know, had nothing to do with it.
But you were helping with the textile course then?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So they had a printed textile course and a fashion course. And yeah, this amazing, they had 3 tables, loads of screens. I had an unlimited budget. It was great.
Wow.
Stable income. Why did I leave? Yeah.
Maybe you could go back.
Those jobs never come up anymore.
No, I can imagine they don't. People cling on to those.